7th of March 1848, Thomas Francis Meaghar raised the colours of green, orange and white, flying the tricolour that is now our national flag. His dream was that beneath its folds the hands of the Irish Catholic and Irish Protestant may be clasped in generous and heroic brotherhood. At a time when we are witnessing an upsurge of exclusive forms of nationalism throughout Europe, based on the rejection of the other, it is important that we, Irish, reaffirm strongly that the Irish tricolour is an emblem of peace and brotherhood between the various communities who live on the island of Ireland, as well as a reminder of the bonds of friendship that tie us to other nations across the world. Indeed, we are fortunate that one of the most recognisable symbols of our shared Irishness is a banner whose pattern of colours is one that conveys a vision of concord and harmony. The white in the centre signifies a lasting truce between orange and green. The Irish tricolour, then, is a symbol of our generous, inclusive Irishness, a symbol we exhibit to manifest our pride at sporting events, but also one we readily share with others, especially around this period of St. Patrick's Day, when so many people around the world, whether Irish citizens, members of the Irish diaspora, or simply friends of Ireland, will be wearing the green, white and orange. When the flag flew for the first time at the Wolfe Confederate Club in Watford in 1848, serfdom had not yet been abolished in the Austrian Empire. The workers of Paris and Berlin lived in appalling conditions, and desperate misery prevailed in famine-stricken Ireland. The young Irelander was inspired by the French tricolour, green and orange replacing the blue and red, but retaining the unifying white, affirming the same underlying principle of popular sovereignty. The Irish tricolour, because it started springing up on the platforms of Irish nationalist public meetings, pinned to jacket lapels during that seminal year 1848, takes us back to the roots of the modern democratic movement. It reminds us of that period when ideas about democratic participation, freedom of the press, workers' rights, and the political rights of colonised nations were proclaimed and exchanged. It is because of this that the tricolour is an inspiration to many nations and peoples throughout the world in their pursuit of sovereignty, recognition of rights against colonialism, human rights abuses, persecution and oppression. The man who created the flag, Thomas F. Meaghar, is another source of inspiration we can draw from. Meaghar was born into wealth, and his father was the first Catholic mayor of Watford. While his father was a moderate nationalist, Thomas Francis was a more radical and ambitious man. He was strongly influenced by revolution in Europe, especially in France. He returned to join the repeal movement established to repeal the 1800 Act of Union, but soon grew frustrated with the lack of action. He joined the Young Irelanders group who wanted more than a Home Rule Parliament in Dublin, complete independence. Following the Young Irelanders' rebellion of 1848, Meaghar was sentenced to be hung, drawn and quartered, but due to the public outcry, his death sentence was commuted to transportation for life to Van Diemen's Land. He left Ireland never to return. However, a few years later, he escaped to South America, and he then made his way to New York. He went on to become a brigadier general in the army, leading a fierce Irish brigade in the American Civil War. He became a hero in America and was known as the father of Irish Americanism. He was pallbearer at the funeral of Abraham Lincoln in 1865. After the war, Meaghar became acting governor of Montana. His legacy today, he is remembered as the first person to fly our great flag, being a brave revolutionary and doing much for Irish America. To leave you now with a quote from our President Michael D. Higgins, we remain indebted to this man who, in 1848, called for a lasting truce between orange and green to become the enduring symbol of the Irish nation. This is indeed a vision worth championing, a message of peace we must continue to cherish.